Chess is a recurring theme in Øyvind von Doren's life. Almost 2 decades ago, the Norwegian film producer and director was documenting the meteoric rise of a 14-year-old prodigy that ended up being quite probably the best chess player ever. 10 years later, Øyvind made the step from award-winning filmmaker to following his true passion, designing watches. Still, he continues to reflect his love for chess in sold-out special editions. The Runde is neither sold out nor a special edition. This is the second iteration of a watch that topped my wish list for a long time, and I am flattered to be able to add it to my panoply of exclusive reviews. The flat case got bigger by 2 mm, while the new sapphire crystal is evidence to the fact that those producers that opt for acrylic do it only for economic reasons and not for some impossible to replicate charm. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here and do this review one step at a time. This is actually quite a hard watch to review, as beyond its striking dial, its strength does not reside in specific areas that elevate it, but rather in the integration of small decisions taken with the goal of creating a fluent design. Except for the dial, nothing really stands out, and everything comes together naturally. The case exudes elegance as its satin brushed sides are surrounded by mirror-polished surfaces. The lugs curve down ever so slightly, as if the 10 mm construction needed any help to stick to the wrist. The signed push-pull crown is rather small, but is sticking out enough to make changing time easy. In fact, as this is a no-date Swiss-made Runde 1069 quartz movement, the crown will just sit there. Speaking of it, this 6-jewel Slimtech caliber's modest height is one of the reasons why the watch is so thin. Runde Island is the most species-rich seabird site in all of Scandinavia and is also known as Treasure Island after the sinking of a gold-laden Dutch ship off its coast in early 18th century. The carving on the caseback replicates a coin from that treasure and is surrounded by a ring detailing a few specifications, the watch name, and its origin. Of course, the dial is the focal point of attention. Unlike the first iteration, Mark II only comes in 2 color variants, but those 2 are amongst the most striking and courageous I have seen used on a watch dial. This one's called warm yellow, but its appearance is more tangerine-like, with a sunburst finish helping it pop. The printing is minimalist, but unlike other better-known Scandinavian timepieces, not fashion watch-like minimalist. The markers are long and thin, doubled up at the cardinal points, and the lack of a minute's track, while not ideal for the perfectionists, plays within the overall Art Deco theme of the watch. The sword hands are legible thanks to their polished finish and the C3 lume application, but I believe the one pointing at the minutes could have been a couple of millimeters longer. Speaking of the lume application, as expected, it serves to rather give the hands presence during daylight, but does not last too long in darkness. As pointed at in the introduction, many watch producers opting for mineral crystals will motivate their choice by stating they could not mold sapphire crystals in a way that would replicate the warmth and softness of the mineral. Yet, here's the Runde sapphire crystal with its gorgeous double-dome construction and enough AR coating application to rival RZE watches. I guess the dial's striking appearance owes a lot to this crystal punching way above its price point. Speaking of the dial, the stitching of the leather strap matches it down to a T. The strap as a whole completes the watch, yet manages to stand out due to both its quality and a color pairing that reveals a versed, educated eye. The comfort is great, and the only components out of place are the quick-release spring bars, as I can't fathom why would anyone elect to wear this watch on a different strap. Unfortunately and completely expectedly, due to the 49mm lug-to-lug distance plus the ample dial estate and the minimum amount of printing it hosts, the watch seems to wear larger than its 41mm width. Even on my 19cm wrist, its presence is more than what its dressy character would warrant. Luckily, there are still 5 great colors to choose a Mark I from, so the 39mm diameter of that version should be a better fit for slender wrists. Of course, that version comes with only a mineral crystal, but this is not a beater watch, so occasions for getting it scratched are fewer. So, what's the conclusion? Is this a watch you should avoid, consider, shortlist, or buy? Granted, the answer depends on a few variables, but should you be looking for a dressy watch for your larger than average wrist and you don't mind quartz timepieces, the minimum you should do is to shortlist the Runde Mark II. There aren't many watches oozing this much character in the under $300 budget, and I can assure you that this is a very well built timepiece. If, however, this is not your thing, subscribe so you'll have a front row seat to my videos documenting my undertaking of finding the watch you want.